We're rolling?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
All right. What's up, dude? Welcome. Thank you for stopping by my house.
It was last minute, but yeah, he just kind of messaged me out of the blue and asked if I wanted to come in here and do this.
Well, I appreciate that. We've been trying to rock it every Sunday. You'll be our second guest, so it's pretty cool. We had a friend Livia last time, a barber. So you'll be the first person here that really we don't know, so that's exciting to learn about you a little bit. Damien said you're in the Army.
Yep.
So reserves, full time.
Yeah, I'm in the reserves. I actually just came from there today. I was there. We had a 4-day weekend, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Doing drill.
Yeah.
Nice. Where do you do drill at? What base?
Right at Fort Meade.
Fort Meade?
Yep, right on Fort Meade.
Nice.
There's like a reserve center right there that we go to. You don't even have to go on post.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
How long you been in the Army?
I joined in 08, but
so a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. You plan on 20 years of retiring, I would imagine, at this point.
At this point, yeah. By the end of this contract that I'm on right now, I'll have 14 years, and then I'm closer to the retirement than I am not. So the only real question is, do I go past 20?
So a pension goes higher? That's the only real benefit? Is that what it is? Or based on your rank? Or
Yeah, it's based on, your last certain number of paychecks. So, it's based on what you were making on your last couple. So the longer you're in, the higher the paycheck, the more you make off of it.
Nice. So what do you mind asking? What's your MOS?
I'm a 35 Golf, and I also transferred to a 35 Fox.
The fuck does that mean?
Could you elaborate on that, please?
I'm
35. 35. I'm assuming is the category of whatever it may be.
Correct.
Okay.
So 35 series is an intelligence series.
Okay.
And then a Golf. This is not going to help you to understand in any way. Is a geospatial intelligence analyst.
Hold on. Yeah, nah. Do you care to geospatial? All right. So meaning what? That sounds dumb. I guess spatial,
So a lot of satellite imagery.
Okay, that's okay.
So we do a lot of image analysis. We look at pictures. I was always good at shapes and colors in school.
Okay.
Not so much at reading and writing and sharing with others.
The square and the square.
Shut up. Anyway, continue.
So yeah, we do imagery analysis, which is anytime you're looking at Google Earth and you're seeing whatever they've got on there for the actual photo view.
Mm-hmm.
We have much more detailed stuff.
Right.
And then we have other satellites and other types of satellites that get other kinds of images like infrared and radar and stuff like that. So
you just spend your time analyzing that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Nice.
And that's a really niche kind of small thing. So there's not as much work. I mean, there is when you're in the Army. There's work to do, but it's a little harder to find on the outside. Not that I really like doing it on the outside anyway. So I don't even work.
What exactly would that transfer to outside, as far as satellite imagery and all that kind of stuff?
A lot of time, most people just work for a 3-letter agency. They go work for the NSA
just transfer over
or
government type stuff.
There's a lot of government contractor, and you've already got a clearance because the Army sponsors you to get a security clearance.
That's what I was about to ask. You need top secret clearance for that.
Yeah. So government sponsors you for it if you join the Army and get it through them. So you need a sponsor to get a clearance. So a lot of times when you go to a company, because a lot of it's contracted out, even on the government side, they subcontract, and they need people that already have clearances, because otherwise they got to spend however many hundreds of thousands of dollars to get you sponsored so you can get a background investigation and get all that done.
Right, yeah, and they have to go talk to old friends and old family, just random people you wouldn't even think about.
It's way more in depth than just when you put in your resume somewhere and they call your references.
I just did a background check for my church to volunteer at literally yesterday. Yeah, very basic. Not the same thing.
They don't call the people that you put down on there.
No,
they go and they say, so this is the person that you listed as a friend of the family, so we found out where they live, and then we asked their neighbors what they thought of the other person, so we could figure it goes way
deep.
Back.
They want a whole story about you, a whole bigger picture. So have you always wanted to do intelligence? Was that what you started off as originally in 08?
No, when I was a kid, I was into planes.
How old are you now?
I'm 35.
Okay, so I'm 36. We're all about the same age. Okay, sorry.
So like 30 years ago, I was into planes and I wanted to be a fighter pilot, and I wanted to do that all the way up until the recruiter called, and they just call you when you turn 18 because they got that list. Calls me at 18, asks if I've thought about the Army. I said yes, I want to be a pilot. Go through the process to get everything done, and then my eyes are too. I can't fly a plane. They're like, no, you can't even.
Well, you need
think
2020 or perfect vision.
Yeah,
maybe even better than 2020.
You need to have 2020 uncorrected vision, if I'm not mistaken. But like, the other so the recruiter is talking to me this whole time like, you want to be a fighter pilot? That's awesome. Okay, we can get you through we get you the ASVAB done. We can get you the testing for the physical. We can get all this done. And then once you get all the way through that process, at the very end, he goes, oh, it looks like without 2020 vision, it's like, you see, I have glasses.
Yeah, right off the jump, dude. I walked in here into the recruiting office.
My glasses
with,
on.
I adjusted them
so I could sign my name.
Yeah, right.
Already knew I couldn't do this job, but you got me to jump through all the hoops, and now we're right at the finish line. All you got to do is pick a job, and you can't pick the one you want. But you scored real high, so
do you get to pick like a top 3 and you
get to pick whatever you want as long as you're within the
ASVAB scored, GT scores, and technical scores combinations and everything. Yeah,
exactly.
I'm familiar.
So as soon as I get through like the high scoring, they're just like, you can do whatever. You just pick any job, and he just kind of hands me a book, and I'm like, what? Because there's every job you can think of is available in the Army. Like,
Nick applied for accountant.
Yeah, I know Nick wanted his brothers in the Army.
Mm-hmm.
He's over in Korea right now.
That's rough.
But he's loving it.
Is he single?
Yeah, he's loving life.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Yep, he's fucking eating it up over there.
If you're married or if you're in a relationship, Korea is terrible. Don't go to Korea.
They love American men, huh?
Dude.
I can imagine.
He sends me pictures all the time when he's out on dates and shit. Cracks me up. But he signed up for accounting. He got heavy artillery.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, so he's just blowing shit up.
Well, that was his third. He had to pick 3, and he picked 2 like admin,
2
and like a
admins
maintenance or something like mechanic type thing, and then he was like artillery because I'm not going to get that, and they were like heavy artillery, dude.
That's a mistake.
Yeah, you're an officer. Good luck.
Well, and he's young. He's healthy.
So he's an officer.
Yeah. He got the most crazy deal. He went right to like OCS. Didn't have to because he had college credits. He didn't have to go through like a 4-year degree with ROTC. He didn't have to. He somehow went to boot camp, regular boot camp, and then went right to OCS. It was. I'm like, what?
So that's a couple of options to go in as an officer. So I'm enlisted. So
right.
I get to pick my job. Officers don't.
Right.
They have a little bit of leeway.
Voluntold.
Yeah, they get a little bit of leeway after they're in for a little bit, but usually line units, so infantry, artillery, like they always need more officers because nobody wants to do that.
Right.
Because you got to deal with a bunch of infantrymen.
Infantrymen
are great.
Hell yeah.
He says they're
you
dumb
need
as
them,
rocks.
but you need them, bro.
He said you pretty much have to hold their hand through everything.
Nah, the infantry knows full well.
Yeah, that's not true at all.
No, I'm thinking artillery. He said artillery, you have to explain everything to him.
The infantry people, they're just ready to go.
Yeah, no, the artillery people. He said you pretty much have to walk them through everything. Like, he almost got blown up because they misfired.
Ooh.
Because they weren't paying attention. Yep.
That don't surprise me.
Yeah.
I mean, like the smartest people I've ever met have been people from the Army. Like, no joke. People with multiple doctorates, people that work for NASA on the outside, people like that. And also the dumbest people I've ever met are people I met in the Army. Like,
well, right, like you said, you had a high ASVAB score, which opened opportunity to all these MOSs. Like, I don't know, what's the entry level score? Like, for example, the Air Force is like a 50. You can't even get in anything until but Marine Corps was a 31. You can. I got it somewhere in the 90s, and you can be a 31. So somebody can go and be in, like you said, and tell, hey, buddy, here's a book. You can pick anything, and then the same guy can be getting a 31 on the ASVAB, and it's like, you're smart enough to get trained how to kick a door and be the second in line.
We'll
and
teach you how to shoot a gun.
Exactly. So it's like, I know what you mean. Like, you get the smartest and the dumbest, and
I had a guy that came from an artillery unit, and he said he had a group of soldiers that were in the barracks. They were in their rooms on like the 3rd floor, and they were convinced that they were going to get inside of their wall locker, like a wooden locker, and then they were going to push it out of the window, and like Looney Tunes style, it would land on the ground and break apart, and they'd be fine.
And they'd be okay.
Makes sense.
So he argues with them for like 20 minutes not to do this. And he comes back later, and they're putting on all of like their helmet and like their ballistic gear and stuff.
Kevlar
like,
and
yeah,
full kit, right?
They can stop a bullet. They can stop gravity.
Right, obviously.
A compound fracture can't happen if it can't break out of my skin, dude.
You tell me a bullet can't get through this, but my bone can.
Yeah, right.
He tells me that the only way he convinced them not to do it is that it was going to destroy the wall locker, because they thought for sure the
government
locker
property.
would blow. But then
They're-
you'd have to pay for the damage,
That's what
so
it
it's
is.
going to come out of your paycheck. And that's
Oh.
then they were like, you know what?
We didn't
You're
think
right.
about
dumb
step
idea.
2. Like, we knew it'd break.
We
but-
know it's safe, but it could be
Like,
expensive.
imagine that, like, between all them dudes deciding we know it's going to break, but nobody going, we're going to have to pay for it. Wait. Like, not somebody else outside of the group really had to come in and be the,
needed an outside,
the voice
we needed
of
an
reason.
outside
Like,
reasoning for this.
yeah.
Is that really even the voice of reason? Because
I
even
think
when you
it's the
look
voice
at
of common sense.
even if you look at like the basic math on that, how much does a locker cost?
You're
A
not
wooden
wrong.
Locker.
Especially between multiple
people.
dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
All of
yeah,
us got to chip in $20.
yeah, you know they're buying them wholesale, and it's like the shittiest, cheapest lockers that
And you'll
are
have
made.
a story to tell forever. It only costs you $80.
Yeah, and you don't even know. You don't pay. It just gets garnished probably, like out of a paycheck that's coming automatically. That, whatever.
But that $80 story can turn into a couple $1,000 story after you hit the ground, after medical bills and
No,
shit.
it's, yeah, I don't know if they'd cover that. What's the deal if intentional dumbassness
Did you get
about
shot?
covering medical
Did
insurance?
you get shot?
Like what?
No, I'd push myself out of a window in
Yeah.
a crate. We don't cover that.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's still covered. It's just like
Was it a Russian that pushed the crate?
you sure don't get no Purple Heart.
Probably
So-
lose your fire watch after that. Too.
So what made you want to join the military in the first place? Anything specific? You said just being 5 and always wanting to be a pilot. That was it, pretty much.
That was pretty much it. Like I mean, Army shit's cool, right?
Yeah.
Green fucking car, green tanks, and all that. I was like, that's awesome. I want to do that.
So what's
and
the
then I
coolest gun you got to shoot?
Mark 19 probably.
Okay.
Mark 19's fun.
Okay, it's a fun gun.
Oh yeah, it's a fun Call of Duty gun.
Fun gun.
I mean,
Shit, Russ got some guns for your ass.
Oh, I know.
I've run through. I mean, when I joined, it was still the M16.
The A1, A4.
It was the A3 that I
A3.
had, and then I had an A4,
Yeah.
and then they upgraded to the M4,
Mm-hmm.
and I've also qualified on the Beretta, the M9, the M17 and 18, which is the new.
I have
SIG.
I have an M18, the SIG M18 9mm. Yeah, I
It's,
have one of those.
Yeah, that's nice. I qualified on that just last year.
You
and I think
use the M17, right? The full size for
We
the
get
Army.
both.
Okay.
We get both because it depends on what you're doing.
Gotcha.
Like, so yeah, I mean that's officers anyway. It's
Yeah,
not my,
yeah.
That's not like my primary. So
Right.
even qualifying on it doesn't count for anything. They were just like,
Yeah.
hey, you're not doing nothing. Why don't you go out there on the range and see what happens? was
I like
okay.
it. It feels nice in my hands. I just put a light on it, a little stream light. It's nice. I like it.
It's all iron sights for us.
I don't. Yeah, I didn't put any red dot or anything. I just put like a flashlight on it. That's all. I prefer. They're just little night sights and stuff. I like them.
We've also done the 249, the 240 Bravo, the 50 cal, and then the Mark 19. Like Mark 19's the most fun to shoot. There's a
you
nice
go.
little delay. You hit the butterfly trigger, and it's just like, and then there's a delay of like 3 seconds before it hits, and they're grenades, so
Hell yeah.
40 millimeter grenades just popping in the distance.
Jeez.
I think Nick said the favorite thing he got to shoot was the airstrike. He got to call one in.
Really?
On targets, yeah, dude.
Like a practice one or
Yeah.
like a okay.
Yeah. But he said doing that.
I was like, are we bombing Korea right
He
now?
said,
Like,
he
what
said
are
when
you
those
talking about?
Dude, he said when those planes come in, you hear those motherfuckers coming in.
I-
He said they're coming in fast.
Oh, I bet. Dude.
Yep.
I mean, I've never done it from close, but like, GON also does assist for some targeting stuff. So like, we do targeting, and we also do like the full motion video, which is like when the drones come overhead.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
work hand in hand with drone operators. So like, we've been there in the room for some of that stuff, but Never got to be close up when that was happening.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably not the worst thing.
He said it's pretty cool.
I mean, yeah. Until there's people there, and then you gotta live with some crazy trauma.
Yeah.
Potentially. Potentially.
Potentially. Now, he said the most crazy shit he's seen in Korea so far is...
The women.
No, the North Koreans. So the South Koreans like to fly literature over on balloons
Mm-hmm.
and pop them so they can read how it's free.
I keep forgetting Damien's here, and I just keep hearing
So the
in the background.
Right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like,
So the
what the
North
fuck is
Koreans like to take balloons and fly over bags of shit and shoot them and just have shit rain down on the South Koreans.
That's gross.
Yep. He says when you're watching the border, they tell you just keep looking up. Yep. Just look up.
So have you always been a reservist?
Yeah, I
Oh,
joined as a reservist
yeah.
because I didn't want to go. Like, I wasn't sure how much I really wanted to do it after I couldn't be a pilot. So,
Right. Like, they want to be super gung ho about it, but still kind of.
And the first contract is for 8 years, so
Is it
like,
4 and 4?
I did 5 and 3.
Okay.
But like, yeah, it's usually 4 and 4. Sometimes they move that around a little bit. I had one guy in basic training that was gonna be an air traffic controller, and he also had ranger, and he also had like all these other riders on his contract for stuff he was gonna do. Like, this dude was a badass.
Yeah, sounds like it.
You make Ranger, yeah.
But,
Yeah.
but air traffic controller school for them is like 2 years or something ridiculous. And then he's got to go to become a ranger.
Yeah,
so
ranger
he's got to
school.
go do that with selection and all that. And
Yeah.
then he's got to go through some other training he had. And it was like the first.
Yeah, you got to
4
go through
years-
jump school and all that shit, probably.
Yeah, you got to be airborne to.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah,
So,
so you're going 4 years before you ever do anything.
yeah, before he hit his first unit, he had 4 years of
Uh-huh.
training, and so his contract was like 12.
That it makes sense.
They were like, "We're not going to train you for 4 years.
Yeah,
and then
just
cut
to- right.
you like,
Right,
4x4 contract. You're done
Uh-huh.
training. Go home."
So have you always been around here? Are you from Maryland, Baltimore area?
I'm from Dundalk.
So
I
you're
live
still
here.
always been based around here since 08, like always Fort Meade?
Other than like a couple times training.
Yeah.
I've been in Arizona, Fort Huachuca. I've been to Fort Hood or
It-
Cavazos. now.
Texas?
Nobody knows. Yeah,
That's
it's
the
in
Texas
Texas.
one.
Yeah. I don't know. They changed the name, but like,
Ever since the tragedy.
but they nobody calls it that.
Yeah, it's Fort
unless
Hood.
like unless it's like for media, I guess, because like everybody knows it's Fort Hood.
Yeah, to be politically correct.
And where else have I been?
Did you ever deployed anywhere?
Yeah, I was in Iraq in 2009, 2010.
How was
in
that?
Baghdad. It was not bad.
No.
I'm in
lot of
intel,
sand.
so
Yeah, I
I
was
stay
in
in the
intel,
middle
yeah,
of the
he's
post.
like-
Yeah, I'm in the safe spot.
He's like, I'm protected with all the computers and the power
I got-
and all
I
that
got things
stuff.
around
Like,
me.
yeah. If I'm dead, the whole base is dead, dude. He's like, where our power comes from and all our knowledge. Okay, like.
That's like one of those things that we say all the time when they're like, well, what if you guys need to? Because we still have to learn all of the like the lethal warrior drills, all that stuff
for sure.
and like. They'll teach us some room clearing, and sure, that's like good for like confidence building and like team building for us. But like room clear, like if they're telling me to take an M4 and
go
start
clear
clearing
room.
rooms door by door,
Yeah,
like
trouble.
at that
we're-
point,
it's
why are
fucking
you
over.
on the offensive? If anything, they should teach you guys how to like group together in a formation and work your way away from somewhere in formation. You know what I mean? Not like. Wow, yeah, like
The
if the
exit
base is getting
strategy.
overrun, the strategy shouldn't be like, all right, guys, we're gonna go clear this room now. Like, I'll take point. I'm going left. Like, what? It should be like, you know what I mean? Like you're saying,
Retreat,
like, why
yeah.
are you guys? It should be, yeah,
Run.
how to fucking get the hell out of here and what we need to keep and what's essential and yeah, that sounds a little wild.
Now, when I was deployed, there was in Afghanistan. There was it was a small outpost. It's only like 50 people there, and that got overrun. And they had intel people there, and they were like, yeah, they had to
Yeah,
come
right.
up on the wall and shoot. But like,
They're not clearing rooms. They're not
yeah,
going on the
even in that
offensive.
case-
Right, they're not going out into the city and being like, all right, you took our base. Well, now our intel guys are going to go kick the doors down and looking for AKs and
We're
stuff.
coming back for it.
Yeah, they're like, they're the guys telling you what doors to go kick in.
Yeah. The last time that I felt the need to point that out, they gave me new flashbang pouches because I was like, if you're giving me flashbangs we got problems. If you hand me a flashbang, we might as well just lay down and call it, because by the time it gets to me, like, something's gone very
If the
wrong.
flashbang stopped working.
I was at that point. If I'm you, the flashbang is for me to throw so they get distracted and I'm running. Like, what? It's not. That's not going to help you guys.
We got to regroup.
That's for me to get out of there. Thank you. 100%. So, rucking. You were asking me about the rucking and talking about Damien, because I know you're over there now, buddy. I'm talking to you too. Because Damien's been rucking with his dog, apparently.
I'm
Right?
going on little walks with him, taking 25 pounds in my backpack, and
You should just carry the dog.
So I know the Army does some rucking, but since you're not infantry, have you done or do you do a lot of rucking or like physical fitness for the intel at all? Is it kind of lax compared to like
The standards are the same across the board.
right
Like,
for the
we have
for a PFT?
Yeah, so the current test is the ACFT, the Army Combat Fitness Test.
Okay.
And it's like somebody was just trying to sell equipment, I think, because it's like CrossFit.
Yeah.
So you do a deadlift. You do
Really?
a 3 repetition deadlift.
I'm surprised there's actual weight. That's kind of funny. It's always
Yeah.
body weight stuff, pull-ups and sit-ups.
So now that the ACFT, there's actually like that's the thing though. You need equipment. So there's a 3 repetition deadlift. There's a hand release push up, which is like a
Where you have
push-up
to come down to
actually
your
have
chest and
and actually take your
I'm
hands
totally
off.
for that, because if you've ever done that for a workout, it definitely accentuates a full range of motion, and just doing that and that little bit from bringing it to here
Well,
definitely.
you got to go all the way out. Like you got to extend your
come
arms
and do this, yeah.
and then bring them back
Uh-huh.
in. And actually, yeah, like if you just look at the standard for the old PT test, that was push-ups, sit-ups, and a 2-mile run. The old push-up standard was like 45 push-ups.
In what, 2
And now
minutes
it's
or something?
10. Now it's 10 for hand release push-ups.
So hold on. So you got to do deadlifts now, but you only got to do 10 push-ups.
Minimums are like the minimums on the ACFT are ridiculous. The 3 repetition deadlift minimum is 140 pounds.
No matter what your body weight is or anything.
Right. So
Dude,
that's
even police got to bench their body weight, I think. Like once. That's wild, dude.
so so deadlift, hand release push-ups. There's a power throw. You get I forget how much it is. It might be 10. It might be a 20-pound.
Like a
medicine ball.
hammer throw or a
It's a
shot put
medicine
type
ball,
deal.
and you have to throw it over your head behind you, and you got to get at least
Like some Highland
four
game
and a half.
shit.
Yeah,
Like,
4.5
Strongman
meters. I think
competition.
it is.
huh.
Then you got a plank and a sprint drag carry event, which is 50 meters or 25 meters out, and then it's you sprint back, and then there's a sled with 90 pounds on it. You drag it back, and then it's laterals back and forth, and then kettlebells, and it's 40-pound kettlebells. Take them up and back, farmer's carry, and then one last sprint, and that's the one that really gasses you, because that one is you've only got like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, I would say a pretty short amount of time.
And that's the minimum is the 2.5 minutes. So
That sounds for like the Marines combat fitness test. Kind of similar to that. Like 2 minutes.
and then you still got a 2-mile run, but the minimum on a 2-mile run now is 22 minutes for me now, I think.
Well, I guess technically the maximum, but yeah, the minimum for how
The
good it is. The
minimum.
maximum time or whatever you're allotted, 22 minutes. That's crazy, bro, for 2 miles.
Mm-hmm. Nice
I can do that with my
11-minute
fucked up
pace.
foot.
You pretty much walk it.
I was going
You
to
gotta
say,
speed walk.
you should at least be able to run like 5-6 miles on 10K at 11-minute miles. That's crazy.
It's definitely a little bit tougher after you've done a plank.
Yeah,
and a
yeah,
and
for
a sprint
sure.
drag carry, and you're pretty gassed, but still 22 minutes is kind of crazy.
Yeah, that seems pretty lax.
But those are the minimums across
yeah,
the board.
yeah. They're,
And like as a reserve
Yeah.
unit, that's an intel unit.
That's-
They're like, just hit the
that's-
minimums, man. As
right,
long as
right.
you hit the minimums, you're good.
I can see that.
Whereas like other units, especially line units, they're like, you need to max this thing out.
100, yeah. You're
Max it
going
out.
for the 20 pull-ups and the 100 push-ups, whatever. Yeah.
Uh,
So you trying to start rucking now? Is that what Damien's telling me?
Yeah, because I hate running. Running's the worst thing. And so
You got bad
Despite-
joints, or you just despise running? It's a feel you just don't
Both.
like it.
both.
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
bad knees.
I do
and
too, yeah.
also I have just total despise running. And for a 22-minute run, like I still hate to do it. So you still gotta run a little bit. You gotta be just a little bit in shape.
Yeah,
enough
yeah,
to
you
run it.
can't. Yeah, you have to. Yeah, you have to at least, like you said, jog a little bit.
Yeah. So you still have to keep up on that stuff, and I'm like, I don't want to run if I don't have to. And then I'm seeing all the studies that are saying that rucking is good cardio. It just takes longer.
Yeah.
So I've been doing that more instead of doing running, which has been great because it's way better on my joints.
It definitely is. Running with weight, sometimes I'll feel it. I'll do that every once in a while with my ruck. I'll go for a trail run, like legit, like jogging and stuff. The pace, like the way I run, kind of changes. I'm not coming down so high and heavy. It's more like a stride. But yeah, I can definitely feel that like more when I'm running. But I agree with you. Like I'm getting older in my knee. Like I work on roofs, so my joints and my knees are always achy. So like I've been trying to just ruck, and I have a 120-pound sandbag that I use also that I'll throw on top of my ruck and hit the hills outside and everything. So I mean, nobody ever does it, and now out of nowhere, the father of somebody at church, kid I volunteer with, he went rucking with me last weekend. Damien said something about rucking. He said you and what? Who else? James, or was it Vance? Who's
Might
that?
be
That's
both.
Brittany's brother, right?
Yep.
So yeah, Vance, and I was like, oh snap! All this, I found out people wanted to do stuff in like within 2 weeks, and then he started wanting to eat healthier and started working out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is happening? This is awesome right now. Like I love this because nobody else has been trying to do it forever. I've just been like solo working out, and Damien hit the gym with me for a little while, and then what happened, dude?
I don't want to talk about it.
Well, we're in a podcast, bro. We got nothing but time, so
This is the place to talk about
Yeah,
it.
thank you.
Shut up, man.
Let's talk about it, dude.
Nah.
Give us a break for a second, and let's hear it.
Nah, it's just lack of discipline. You know,
Oh, you lack discipline.
I lack of discipline.
Iraq? We're back to Iraq? No. What do you mean?
No, I stopped making the time for it. Work kind of took over a little bit, and then I just kind of fell out of the habit of going, and just haven't really been able to get back into it.
Yeah, I'm glad you said lack of discipline, because people be like, lack of motivation or lack of this, and like motivation is whatever. You know, it's there, it's not. You just got to do it. Like I said, a lot of times I've been working crazy hours, so going to the gym and doing that kind of stuff hasn't been in the cards, but so I'm just rucking outside and doing that home workout, like something.
Yep.
You know, which is I'm happy. Damien, he texted me the other day, told me he rucked with his dog with like a certain amount of weight in his pack, and he followed it up with, I just feel the need to check in with you every time I ruck. And I was like,
I need somebody to give me some
yeah,
credit
dude,
for
and that's
this.
like, because it's like accountability, you know?
Yep.
Plus, you probably want like a little bit of an attaboy at this point. So it's a little bit of motivation and like a boost. And you know I'm here for it, dude. I'll fucking hype you up all day for that. I'm like, fuck yeah, on a text message, like, yeah. And then I'll be like, all right, dude, you want to go hit the sauna for an hour and a half? He's like, nah. And I'll be like, all right, that's fair, but.
No, but my mom was coming over.
Yeah,
that day,
How
too,
did.
so.
Is that some? Oh, that's right. You already told me what that
Yeah,
was.
that was. She just came over to see the dogs. I was expecting some drama, quite honestly, but luckily it was not.
Yeah. So Vance is so you're one of Vance's friends?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you play the are you like what is it? Your little game crew?
Yeah.
That's
game night guys.
okay.
Yeah.
He said I don't know who they are. It's who? So it's you and James and Vance.
Yep.
What do you guys play?
That's it, and it's
And-
Damien, right? That's like the
And Vance's wife Jen
D&D?
too.
Yep.
I'm trying to learn how
Va-
to play D&D.
who is it?
Vance's wife Jen.
Okay.
She's there too.
Gotcha. I was just wondering.
Sometimes we have random other people stop in.
Yeah.
Like our friend Dom comes over sometimes. My friend Steve comes over
Yeah.
sometimes. We've had a couple of people stop in.
That's what's up. I was just wondering. So it's exciting to hear. So do you have any? Is it just something you want to start doing more of? Do you have any like specific fitness goals? Like for example, he's trying to lose weight and obviously eat cleaner and get in better shape. He's been weighing. I have like one of those scales that you go on barefoot and it'll, I guess, give you a baseline of a whole bunch of different biometrics and stuff. So we're like the last 3 weeks we've been tracking him, and he's been doing some at-home workouts, or so he says. I don't know. I have no way of really knowing. But you know, he's been saying
We'll
he's
have
doing.
to check in with you like Damien.
There you go, bro.
FaceTime
Yeah,
you as
yeah.
I'm doing them.
Yeah, dude. Show me a little bit of swing. I'll put some water on his face. You'd be like,
Yeah,
"This
wake
guy-
up from your nap and text him. You're like, oh, I just went rocking for 2 hours.
I'm beat, dude. I'm laying down now.
See, I can't even do that because I don't nap. I just sleep till fucking.
Yeah, I
3 in
can't.
the
I can't
afternoon.
nap. I sleep too. But
Just gotta make a group chat, and everybody works out separately, but just
yeah, like in the
like,
ca-
hey
like,
guys.
bro. Honestly,
You
as
gotta
much
post
as
pictures or it never happened.
Accountability buddies.
yeah, and yeah, for real though, accountability. But for real though, like I'm trying to, like I said, and with so James ain't trying to do it, right?
James is.
He might, because I asked him about, because he went to Colorado recently, and he was on a hiking trail going up. I don't remember what the place was, but it was a couple of thousand steps, and he got most of the way
Was
up.
it the Manitou Springs?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I was just in Colorado, and we didn't go to that, but we drove like past where we were. Yeah.
Yeah, so he just did that, and I asked him if he was doing more of that kind of stuff, and he
Hell
said he was looking for places around here to do some hiking. I don't know if he wants to ruck, but you know,
Or at least.
Hiking.
Hey man,
you
it's
still gotta
just
throw
look.
in
I'm
water
just
and food, right? If
it-
you're going for an all-day hike.
exactly, and that weighs stuff, right? Exactly. And I mean, honestly, I'm just people that want to go. I'll ruck. Like I joined a hiking club at one point in my church. Like they all hike, and I'm bringing a pack. I don't need you guys to ruck. But the fact that all you guys want to ruck is cool. And I know he wants to hike, but I know Dane was saying like, I do it mostly around like the streets and everything. So like him picking you up to come around wherever, or me going to Dundalk, like I have no problem. You know what I mean? Just the neighborhood, like I said, bringing the sandbag and hitting, or even a trail, certain spots where the sandbag goes around in a group to try to make. You know what I mean? Just little things like that. And if he's not hiking, I'm just, like I said, I'm used to doing all this stuff by myself for years. So like it's cool out of nowhere to hear that a group of people that I know closely, and then like I said, the guy Craig, who's like 37, we're all about the same age. He wants to start getting in better shape. He told me he was holding his baby and vacuuming. Sorry, Craig. He was vacuuming and he got like a pain in his side, and he was like, it was bad, like all the way up here in his chest, and he was like having trouble breathing because they have like newborn baby, so he was like shaking the baby and vacuuming, and he's like freaking out. Like he said, it was hard to breathe so much that it scared him. They went to like patient first and whatnot, and by the time everything was he was seeing and all that, it was kind of died down, and they told him it was just like a really bad side stitch, which sounds kind of weird. Never heard of a side stitch like up in your rib area. Usually that's down here like a thing. But that was like a wake up call. He's like, dude, if I'm really getting like cramps like size from holding my baby and like vacuuming, I gotta do something. So like he knows that I do that kind of stuff. So he went with me last weekend. Last weekend we rucked for an hour and 10 minutes through Honeygo in the woods and stuff.
Yeah.
I gave him I have a backup pack, and I gave him like a 20-pound weight with some like a 3-liter Camelback of water in it. It's pretty cool. So he was all about it. He's like, I seen him this morning at church. He was all about ready to go again and everything. So it's pretty exciting for me.
I started doing it. I started doing it more recently because I worked on roofs for a couple of years myself, and like that'll keep you in shape when you're pulling stuff up the pulley, up and down a ladder.
Carrying whole solar. I install solar, so we're carrying solar panels up and down ladders all day long, and
we would install the roof, and it was all like the rolls of torch down. So I mean
that stuff's
90
heavy
to 110
yeah,
pounds, and you just got to throw it on your shoulder and carry it around. Stop doing that, and I got a job as like an office manager basically, and I'm sitting there on my ass not doing nothing. I went to my doctor in like September, and he does the weight, and I'm like up 25 like I've been 165 to 170 for like 25 years, and he's like, you're 195, and I was like, oh, and my doctor is a total asshole. He's like, well, you're not outside anymore, you're probably eating the same amount of food, aren't you?
Yeah,
and
you
I
have
was
the same habits of working out,
like,
and
eat less food, right? Just don't eat as much food.
No
and
way,
I was
work
like,
out more. Yeah.
He's like, that's going to happen if you just get lazy and just eat too much. And I was like, calm down, man. Like,
It is
I
true,
get
you
it. I
don't-
feel bad
don't-
about the 25 pounds
How
already.
tall are you?
5'9".
5'9", 190. I mean, that's not like.
Yeah, that's
So-
not like crazy, but still, like,
yeah.
you're
If
used
you're
to weighing
used to
in
being there for
165
so long.
every time I do a check-in for the Army, it's like, do height and weight, and they're like, you're 5'9", 165. You're 5'9", 165 for like.
It's like my
what is it,
license, you could just
15
repeat
years.
that forever.
15 years of doing that, and then weigh in, and they're like, all right, you're 5'8" because you're losing spinal compression, and you're 195. And I was like,
We're going the wrong way on
I don't like
both
this.
of this.
I can't do nothing about the height, but the weight, I can take that back off. That's no problem.
So, is there like a consistent day that you guys, because you guys have obviously talked about this together as a group more than I've talked to David, or I don't know if you have or not.
Well, I walk to work, so I'm
Okay.
about 2 miles from where I work, and I ruck in and back. So that's not a huge amount, but
Right,
like,
right.
that's 4 miles every day.
That's definitely something, yeah,
Yeah.
for
More than
sure.
what I do.
That's 4 miles every day, and then
How much weight are you carrying?
it's about 45 because the Army standard is 40.
Yeah,
And then, like, the habit that you kind of learn for the Army is to throw in a couple extra pounds because you're going to drink your water, you're going to sweat it out, you're going to lose a couple pounds.
Yep.
And if they're actually being, like, sticklers about the weight, then they're going to weigh all those bags at the end, and they're going to go, you're at 39 pounds, so that ruck didn't count for you, and you're going to have to do it
Yeah.
again on another time.
no, it's true. I'll do those rucking events, and it's dry weight. The
Yep.
weight standard goes off dry weight, not your food, not your water, none of that. Like I have 50 pounds of actual weights in my
Yes.
pack, and then I have a Camelback, like 3 liters of water, and I just have a couple water bottles in there for no reason, and then a couple random things to simulate food and like a dry bag with a change of socks and like random a couple of things, gloves, headlamp, stuff like that, and it's about 60 pounds.
Yeah.
So like, yeah,
I got a bunch of training manuals and stuff in the front pouch, and then
They're
change of
probably
clothes. Like they are, but there aren't because like a lot of them are just pamphlets that are like 5 pages.
Yeah.
So they're kind of nothing, but it's a bunch of them, so they fill up the front pouch, and then I throw in the wet weather bag in case it gets rainy,
yep.
and then I got a change of clothes.
yep,
um,
especially some socks.
And I keep both because I take it to drill when I go to drill, and then I take it to work, and I don't want to be wearing Army olive drab green socks at work, and I don't want to be wearing that extra tight coyote tan undershirt at work. If it rains and I got to take the polo off at work, and I'm going to put on a shirt, I'd rather it be a t-shirt than. But if I'm at drill, I can't just put on a random shirt. It's got to be. So I got
Yep.
like 2 different sets of clothes in there. And then I throw in 25 pounds. But with all the weight in the books all combined, it comes out to about 45 to about 50, depending. And I just carry my water because it's only 2 miles.
Yeah.
So, like, most of the time I do that, my Camelback is gross. You don't use it for, like, a
Yeah.
week.
Yep.
But it's just
Last
all
time,
floating in that straw.
so I went Sunday or last Saturday with that guy Craig, and I gave him I keep a duplicate, like a backup of everything in case my stuff breaks. So I have that backup pack, and I put a 20-pound plate in there, and then I have a backup, like brand new Camelback hose that's never been used. So I hooked it up for him, and I'm like, here you go, dude. I've never used it. Don't stress it. Like you're brand new to you. You're the first person to use it. And he drinks the first time, and he makes a face, and I was like, oh, it probably has all that plasticky, like chemical-y taste, and he's like, yup, sure does. And I was like, sorry, dude. I guess it's probably better than being dirty. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, because if you use a Camelback and then you let it sit for like any amount of time without cleaning it all the way, it gets just like a weird buildup of I don't even know what that is. It's disgusting. Though
Is
I've
it,
drank
like,
out of my
slimy?
ass.
well, it depends. It's whatever's in the water. So whatever like minerals are in some shitty water, or if you put electrolytes in your sites, all that like stuff just gets all gross in there and everything.
Yeah, I took a big drink out of one that was and I got a chunk of something, and it was it was like getting a piece of. I'm gonna describe the consistency. It was like having a piece of like soggy bread, just like a hunk of it, and it went up that straw into my mouth, and I was just like, spit that out, looked at it. It was all multicolor, and I was like, I guess I'm not using this, and I'm not trying to clean this out. This is just trash now.
Yeah, that's gross. So what I was gonna ask is there like a day that you guys, if you've talked about it at all more extensively, that you guys would maybe want to get together as a group and try to do it, or is that something we're gonna have to try to just kind of figure out on the fly, or is there a day that works? Like, is everybody off on a something morning, a Saturday morning, or is everybody off? Just curious.
I don't think we've actually really talked
That's
about
what I
it
was
more
wondering.
than just,
Damien,
like,
you got
the
any?
ballpark, 'cause
Yeah.
I was telling you upstairs that I asked because he brought it up to us and was like, if you guys are interested in rucking, he does this rucking stuff and he would like to have other people come along with him.
100%.
And it's like, oh yeah, sure. Like,
And
how
that's-
much does he ruck? What's he carry? What kind of stuff? And and Damien starts off with. Well, he's done like an event where he does like rucking for 12 hours, and I know he's got like a 120-pound sandbag that he carries sometimes, and I was like, that's the starting level. Like, you want to try and bring us on board, and you're like, just 12 hours, 120 pounds in the pack. I'm like, all right, that's not good for you.
It's like trying to
wasn't
bring
good.
somebody to the gym. Hey man,
I'll
you
give
want to
that
get in
cut.
shape? That we're gonna go work out with this marathon runner
Squat
today
this
and
1,000
hit a
pounds
cool
real quick.
13 miles on day one. Like, yeah. What? Thanks, Damien. Why would you try to like scare somebody off like that? What's your goal there, man? You're supposed to be like, yeah, dude. Of course we can. Take it easy and
Well,
we'll have
that's-
a good time.
I
But
forget how the conversation went.
But I do have a 120-pound sandbag.
Because that was my first response when he said like 12 hours. I was like, that's crazy. I'm not doing 12 hours.
Well, okay.
rucks.
To be fair, those are events. They're not
Yeah.
me
Yeah.
going to train for.
He clarified that later, but I'm telling you, he
that
says
was
he
my
doesn't know.
kickoff.
Yeah, he does. He says he doesn't remember how the conversation started. It was
He's like,
definitely.
"I do."
I'm interested in going on some rucks with this person. It sounds good. What should I be expecting? Like,
Yeah.
if we do decide to do this, what should I expect? And then his next response was, he's done 12-hour events before, and I was like, that is not a good starting place for negotiations. And then he said about the 120-pound sandbag, and my next response was, when you're rucking, you should keep it like 20 to 30% body weight, like in that area. You don't want to go that much higher because then you're going to cause.
Eventually, yeah.
Yeah.
But this, like I said, this is something that's an intermittent thing. But yeah.
Yeah.
He's
Short
not
distance
wrong.
is
Crazy.
fine.
Yeah. But yeah, dude, no. And the thing is, I wouldn't say like, hey guys, everybody that's kind of newer to this, because you obviously military, but like everybody else maybe newer. I wouldn't say, all right, I'm doing this. This is what I'm used to doing. All right, let's go. Keep the fuck up. You know what I'm saying? It would be, all right, I might, if it's going to be something where, like I said, like last week, I wasn't even expecting that he was going to go for an hour. So I made sure I threw a couple extra water bottles in my thing, thinking I'll make it a little heavier because he might struggle a little bit more. It's something new to him, and the dude killed it. Didn't stay, just recruised for an hour and 10 minutes. No problem. So I'm like, cool. So depending on what I'm thinking we'll do or whatever you guys say, let's try a couple miles today, or let's try this. You know what I mean? Like, there's no like, we're doing now. If I'm like, hey, I signed up for this event. If you guys want to do this, like, it's a 12-hour event, whatever. Like, I'm killing it this weekend. If you guys want to join, that's a little different. But you know what I mean? We want to get together on a Saturday morning and hit a hangout and listen to some music and hit a ruck or something. Yeah, whatever that may be. But what's even cool, I did a 24-hour event one time for the 20th anniversary of 9/11 up in New York City. But to be fair, you're not moving for 24 hours the whole time. Like, you make a movement as a team, but the whole team's got, everybody has your weight on, you know, like whatever you have, 30 or 20 for like women, or they say under 150 pounds. Usually it's men and women. And you'll make a movement as a team to a point, usually chill for a minute, maybe get some food. But the whole thing, you have a team weight of 50 pounds, and it can be, dude, I've seen it from a pallet that was painted as an American flag to a rebar concrete eagle.
Huh.
And that was our team. It just has to be a team weight, and then the cadre bring hellish shit. Sandbags everywhere from 40 to 120 pounds, and it's all got to go. So, like, 24 hours was a little rough. And to, like, the average person, that sounds crazy, and that sounds like, wow, this is badass, blah, blah. And I say it in the most humble fashion because these dudes are badass. The weekend that I did, the 24-hour one called the Heavy, we did, like, an insane amount of people. Like, 120-something people did it, and everybody but, like, 3 people finished because it was, like, special event, 20th anniversary, you know, in New York City. But they had all 3 events, the 24-hour, the 12-hour, and the 6-hour that weekend. And, like, half of the people that did the 24-hour with me did the other 2. You take a 3-hour break. So 24 hours, a 3-hour break, 12 hours, a 3-hour break, 6 hours. So, like, to, like, Damien, and people are like, what the fuck, dude, you did this 24-hour thing, that's fucking insane. And I'm like, I could be like, hell yeah, it's fucking awesome. But in reality, I'm leaving there going, fuck, dude, I'm a bitch, because half them people I was dying with all night long are going to go relax for 3 hours and go die for 12 more hours and then do it for 6 more hours. You know what I'm saying? So, like,
Yep.
level, and it's like, and they have, like, so they have things that mimic selection, like 48 hours. That's, yeah, no longer team events that, like, actively try to make you quit. But I haven't done any shit like that. But they got all kinds of stuff, so I don't know. I'm just, looking for some people to work out with in reality. I'm not a fan of the workout just to get big and look a certain way. I'm like functional fitness guy, and doesn't seem to be much of that around here. So hearing all you guys are down to do that kind of shit is exciting.
It's also nice to have other people that do it too, because like, I mean, if you go to the gym, it's fine, but like, I know Vance works out at home mostly. He's got a setup in his basement. I've got a setup of my stuff, and it's definitely
Hey, Damien, pull up Silver chokes out Mitchell on the internet real quick.
Ooh, yeah.
it's also just
Yeah.
like you can't hit like a PR in your house.
No,
Like I'm not benching. With,
I was gonna say,
I'm not benching with 300 pounds on the bar.
yeah, depending on what it is. Yeah, if you have some push-up record or whatever sure. But like you say, yeah,
Silva chokes
you
out Mitchell.
same way. Like working out alone. I don't do too much of like the. You can ask Damien. When I worked out with him, we kind of went to the old school 3 sets of whatever, and like more traditional lifting style. But I'm more CrossFit style, throwing, rucking, like ADHD workouts, spaz shit. Like I can't do. This is boring. I don't like taking breaks. You know what I mean? But like, shit, just look, distraction. I see people getting choked out, dude. That was cold.
Did you say it?
Yeah.
Were you home in time for that one?
No, but we were watching it in the phone, so we just went way off track here. Do you you a UFC fan?
Nah, I don't really watch UFC.
Oh,
Sorry.
You're good, but no. There was a pay-per-view on last night, and you gotta probably go to YouTube and just type
Yeah, my thing is it's hard to hit any kind of like
yeah
hard
yeah
workout.
anything
and
heavy.
Even if you just get something that doesn't require you to like
video
have a
tab.
spotter for or anything. Just you get hurt in the basement and then you gotta like just pulling something.
Yup, you're not
So,
wrong.
pull it-
Sometimes the motivation just somebody there being like, "Let's go" or something,
Yeah.
or even
this video is just this
even
guy
if you're
talking.
somebody that's competing, friendly competition. Oh, he got this many. I gotta fucking. I'm dying, but I gotta. Like
Yeah,
just help each other build up.
And even on those workouts where you're just doing something like, I don't know, you're deadlifting. I can do that at home, but like I'm not gonna put the max on the bar and then something get a weird hernia or something, and now I gotta crawl over to my phone and call for help and tell them to how to get into the house and how to get down the stairs.
God, my damn internet, bro. Why is Comcast doing this?
Go over to the video tab.
I did.
Bro, this was pretty cold because he was out, dude. And I like Bryce Mitchell too.
He literally went out right as he tapped.
I like him, dude. It just he was out, bro. We watched it in the car. Craig had it up on his phone when we were coming back from DC last night. Killer show, by the way. Shane Gillis killed it.
I heard good stuff about the show.
I saw it last night. It was a really his hour was awesome.
Actually
And surprisingly, Ari Shafir was there. Dan Soder was there. It's pretty good.
Sorry, boys.
Go on ESPN's website.
He went to Brave and he typed in Google.
Yeah, what the fuck is happening? Just
So let's just go to YouTube.
yeah, go to YouTube. So,
Click on UFC. Should have it. Get more sports.
what do you think they're gonna have a video of that on there?
Yeah, because ESPN Plus owns all their stuff now.
Danny, you really want to see this?
Ooh, that was a good fight, dude. Volk and Diego. Oh. They don't even have anything. They strolled right past it.
Scroll up to that woman thing real fast.
That one or the other one?
The
No,
prelim.
the
Up one, right there.
Your internet is
Bro, my internet's the past couple days out of nowhere. It's been sucking. I don't know what's going on. Comcast is they're on that BG&E shit, dude.
I just got this whole thing from them talking about how they boosted my speed and all this shit, but it just lags out.
Yeah, like I don't know. At least I'm glad you said that yours has been going crazy the last few days or whatever, because it's only been the last couple of days out of nowhere. Like you've always joked that I had slow internet, but I don't. I have good internet. Fuck off. But right now I don't.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's deep, dude. I didn't see any of this.
This is the prelim.
Oh, well, that makes sense. I was gonna say I watched the last, but that dude, that Volk fight was a good fight, man. Volk looked crisp. Diego looked good. He's big, bro. This dude's 5'11", fighting what 145, but he's big, bro. I'm 5'11", 170, and he's got to be bigger than me, if not the same size. Like fighting 145, like that's crazy.
That was a nasty choke.
Damn, what my internet's just there you go, internet, the world. My internet's trash on fucking the internet. Cool. Awesome. I'm gonna have to call them. I don't know what's going on.
Say, hey, you sold me a shitty product.
Yeah, well, it's been great for however long I've had it. It's never been a problem. But now shit's on the spin. So Damien, what's up, dude? When are you gonna start working out again?
I've been liking
What the fuck
the
did you
home
just say?
workout stuff. Sorry, I stumbled over my words. Thanks for calling me out.
Hey, it's okay.
Nah, but like I've been doing like push-ups throughout the day and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I haven't really been doing any ab stuff, but I still have a six-pack, so I'm not really worried about it.
Yeah, but you got a skinny six-pack. There's a difference between a skinny six-pack and a muscle six-pack.
You're right. You are absolutely correct.
Yeah, don't let him talk to you about being too skinny and that's why you have a six pack.
It's hard to gain weight.
Get him. Whatever.
Six
You're
packs.
a
I was,
skinny
I
guy,
was
though.
just trying. I don't know, huh?
Six packs made in the kitchen. I mean,
Boom! I heard that back in the day. That was my wrestling
all
coach
what
in
you
9th grade. Six
eat.
packs, abs are made in the kitchen.
it doesn't matter how much core workout you do, it's just gonna make it bigger. And then you're just gonna have a big gut, and it's gonna be ripped, but it's gonna be huge. That's why a lot of them have that turtle shell when they get big, and they don't even have any definition.
That's
in
all
there.
that like roid gut too and shit.
That's true.
To
Dude,
get that
some of those
fucking old
motherfuckers
man
swell
stomach
up.
that's hard
Bowling
as can
ball.
be.
Looks like it's just filled with water.
Yeah, or they said they get them giant abs that look like that Ninja Turtle, but on their shit like they swallowed the shell and it's
Rogan's
just
like that.
coming out of there like six pack with each abs like that big.
If you look at Rogan, he's like that from all the like T boosters and
Is
shit
he?
does.
I
yeah.
believe it. The man's almost 60, probably on everything.
Oh yeah, he definitely.
I mean, he
he'll
talks
ta-
about
he
being
talks
on
about
all
being
the
on
shit.
T
Yeah,
and
yeah.
everything.
Dude, he's in shape as fuck. I hope I'm that in shape when I'm 58 years old or whatever he is.
Yeah, he's pushing 60.
Yeah, dude.
I wouldn't mind doing that.
And he's in better shape than most people that are our age, and we're not half his age, but a little bit more, 60% of his age.
57.
Yeah, dude. That's 20 years from now. I hope I'm in as good a shape as that.
Yeah, I don't like thinking sometimes about stuff that happened, when I was a kid or when I was a teenager, and thinking like, yeah, that happened I can measure that in decades now.
Dude, when you
It's
could
not
say
just like
that
10
was
years. It was
20 years.
multiple decades.
Yup, when you could say that was 20 years ago and be like in double digits to remember it. Like I was 16 20 years ago. I was a senior in high school at 16 20 years ago. That's fucking gross.
Yeah.
That means I was meeting Damien about then. I already knew Benny for like 3 years.
Yep.
I didn't meet Damien until not that long ago,
Uh,
comparatively.
about 8 years ago.
Yeah, something
8.
like that.
I mean, that's still a long time. I mean, yeah,
Nah.
if we compare it to me being probably like 18, then yeah, it's not. But like 8 years is a long friendship.
I met Vance and Jen in middle school. So that's been decades. But same for James too. Like most of that group, Damien kind of came late.
Where'd you guys go to Dundalk Middle?
Yeah,
Well, that's because Damien was the Parkville area.
yeah.
So,
Dundalk Middle,
yeah, I would
Dundalk
say-
High.
So you met them when you got with Brittany and all.
Yep.
Word. They got married on my birthday.
Yes, we did.
Shame.
I mean, Matt was there. Matt was at the
Was he?
wedding.
I was
that-
I was in
Yeah,
the wedding.
You were James's date, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, that's right.
I was up on the stage. I was in the wedding.
Yeah, you shaved your face.
Yeah, my mom
like
and
a
my sister were
dumbass.
invited, and they're looking up, and I had a beard just like this, nothing crazy. And they're like, "You gotta shave," and I'm like, "No, I don't. Like, I'll trim it up." You know, they're like, "No, Damien's clean shaven. Like, you're in a wedding, dude. The wedding party. Like, you got to." So I fucking did, and I never shaved my face, and I shaved my face, and nobody else shaved their face. Like who else was it? They had big old beards.
Yeah, Lou had a giant
Yeah,
beard.
Lou had a big old
Vance had a
beard.
giant
Yeah,
beard.
and I'm like with a fucking baby face.
I had a giant beard too, but I wasn't up there.
Yeah, and I had a
Just
beard.
solidarity.
I had a beard that night before that. And I was like, fine, I'll listen to you guys. I'll shave, but yep, didn't matter. And
Yeah,
then
I
we
don't
sat
remember
in
that.
the back of my truck in a tuxedo and suits. Remember that? And smoked weed, Damien.
Absolutely.
Cross-legged in the trunk or the whatever you call it, the area of my SUV, and just in Martin's East and smoked weed, like cross-legged Indian style in my hatch trunk area.
I don't even remember that wedding, but to be fair, I remember the drive home because
There-
Vance and Jen drove me home because I was hammered.
Yeah, I was gonna say I know everybody went through at least 2 kegs of Natty Bow.
Yeah,
2 kegs of Natty
It's starting
Yep.
to come back to me.
Yep.
I remember the colors were dark purple because I still have that shirt upstairs.
Yep. You guys.
Did that purple have a name to it?
I don't remember.
Is it
Don't
shit
lie to
like
us.
Violet.
You know.
It's
Yeah.
purple.
Well, we know it's purple.
Purple. and
Well, I wonder
silver
how they
are the
marketed
colors,
it.
That's all I remember. All right, you want to wrap this up there, sir?
I don't care, sure. All right, man. Well, I appreciate you stopping by and kicking it with us and hanging out. And hopefully we can get on the rocking thing, working out. Benny was just kind of here this whole time. He didn't really do much.
He's
Chatted.
chilling.
All right, man.
Later.
See ya.